Let's continue our session, human capital formation. Sources of human capital formation. The different sources of human capital formation are expenditure on education. Yes, spending more money for education that leads to increase future income and rises the living standard. Second, expenditure on health. It helps to build productive labor force and improve quality of life. Third, on-the-job training. It increases the skill and efficiency of workers. Fourth one, expenditure on migration. It helps to increase earnings in migrated place. The last one, expenditure on information. It helps to make decision in investment in human capital. So, first we'll just start off with expenditure on education. Labor skill of an educated person is more than that of uneducated person. Yes, a skill of an educated person will be more than that of uneducated person, which enable him to generate more income than the uneducated person. Yes, of course, that is skilled person. Educated persons will earn more income when we compare with the uneducated person. Spending on education by individual is similar to spending on capital goods by company. Both are same. Spending on education by individuals and spending on capital goods by companies, because individuals invest in education to increase their further income and rises the living standards. Yes. So individual, they'll invest in education. Why they investing in education? It's nothing but to increases their future income, and apart from that, to increase their living standards. So that's why each and every individuals will spend their expenditure, they will spend their income for expenditures on education. That leads to increase future income and rises the living standards. Yes, now let's discuss with a few contribution by education to economic growth, because that is in this education contributes to economic growth because education confers higher earning capacity on people. It gives better social standing and pride. It enables one to make better choices in life. It provides knowledge to understand the changes taking places in society. It also stimulates innovations. It facilitates adoption of new technology. So these are the contribution by education for economic growth. Now let's move on to expenditure on health. Health expenditure is a source of human capital formation as it directly increases the supply of healthy labor force. So, health expenditure is the main source of human capital formation because this will directly will increase the supply of healthy labor force. Yes, we'll just move with the points now. Poor health and undernourishment adversely affect the quality of manpower. A sick labor without access to medical facility is compelled to abstain from work, and its loss of productivity. Yes, of course, if a person is unhealthy, what will happen? Is it's compelled to abstain from work, and then what will happen if a person is unhealthy? Definitely, they will send the person out. If they send the persons out, what will happen? That will affect our productivity. Therefore, expenditure on health is important to build and maintain productive labor force and to improve the quality of life of people in the society. So that's what expenditure on health is the most important, because to build and as well at the same time maintain a productive labor force. Next, adequate food and proper nourishment to people along with adequate health and sanitation facility leads to qualitative improvements in human capital. The third point, they were speaking about adequate food and proper nourishments will leads to live long with the adequate health, as well as there should be some proper sanitation facility that leads to qualitative improvement in human capital. Some forms of health expenditure. What are the various forms of health expenditure? Which includes preventive medicines known as vaccination, curative medicines, medical interventions during illness, social medicine, spread of health literacy, provision of clean drinking water and good sanitation facility. So these are the various forms of health expenditure which includes. Yes, now let's move on to on-the-job training. As stated earlier, productivity of physical capital is substantially enhanced with the improvement of human capital. Yes, of course, productivity of human capital substantially enhanced with improvement in the human capital. If human is good, if there is improvement in the human capital, that leads to increase definitely the physical capital productivity. Due to this reason, many firms provide on-the-job training to the worker. So because of the reasons, many firms, what they're doing it, they are providing on-the-job trainings to the worker. They'll be working in it. At the same time, they will train the people for some other ones. And then, such training has the advantage that it can be provided fast and without much cost. So this kind of training as a must, it's an advantage for them. How it's advantage? That it can be provided fast at the same time without much cost. Next, it increases the skill and efficiency of the worker and leads to an increase in production and productivity. So, because of this on-the-job training, the people will lead to increase the production as well as the productivity. So, on-the-job training may take different forms. What are the forms? Workers may be trained in the firm itself under the supervision of a skilled worker. And workers may be sent for off-campus training. So, those points which come under on-the-job training. We'll move to the other one, expenditure on migration. People migrate from one place to another in search of job that fetch them higher salary. So the people, what they are doing it, they are migrates from one place to another for what? For fetch them for getting higher salary. Unemployed people from rural area migrate to urban area in search of job. Mostly unemployed people from rural area, they'll migrate to urban area in search of job. Technically qualified persons like engineers, doctors, etc. migrate to other country because of higher salary. A technically qualified persons like doctors and engineers, what they're doing it, they are migrating, migrates to other country for the higher salary and that they may get in such countries. Migration in both these cases involve two kind of cost. First one, cost of transportation from one place to another. Second, higher cost of living in the migrated places. So, these are the sources of expenditures on migration. And at the last point, expenditures on migration is the source of human capital formation. Enhanced earnings in the migrated places is more than increase in the cost due to migration. Yes, the people they are migrating in it, but in this they have two cases which involve two kinds of cost they have to pay. First one, cost of transportation from one place to another. Second one, higher cost of living standards in the migrated places. Now, let's move on to the last sources of human capital formation. Expenditure on information. Expenditures incurred to acquire information relating to labor market and other market. It involves amount spent on seeking information about education institution, their education standards and cost of education. We'll see with an example. People want to know the level of salary associated with various types of job, whether the education institution provide the right type of employable skill and at what cost. Or information is necessary to make decision regarding information, investment in human capital as well as for efficient utilization of acquired human capital stock. So, few people they are spending their money for spending expenditure for information, in which one they'll be placing in it, in which one they are getting high level of salary associated with it, and what type of job, whether the education institution provide the right type for the employable skills as well as at what cost. So these are the causes of human capital formation.